Get ready, everybody, to change your perspective of the earth you live on. Now, these are stories you may not have heard. And this one is coming from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the story of Lord Varaha, Varaha Devadashi, Lord Varahadeva appearance. Right, from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the pregnancy of Diti. Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the four Kumaras, the appearance of Lord Varaha, the victory of Hiranyaksha, and his death at the hands of Lord Varaha. After describing the appearance of the white boar incarnation that had appeared during the Svayambhuva devastation, Maitreya next described the red boar incarnation that had appeared during the Chakshusha devastation. Maitreya related these pastimes to Vidura in the same manner in which he had heard them long ago, when Lord Brahma had narrated them to the demigods. Now, here's a close-up. Lord Vadashi, and this is the white boar incarnation. Now, you can see what he's doing. He's picking up the ball earth in his tusks. And the story is that the earth was flooded and that the supreme creator in Vedic knowledge, Lord Vishnu himself, appears in this world. And there are 26, I think, documented incarnations of him coming to this world in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And one is this: to come and save the world which had been underwater, put underwater. So we're going to get into this now, okay? Now here's the brown boar incarnation, Lord Varaha. Can you imagine this? The big ocean there, look at it, it's full of water, and Lord Varaha has to come down, incarnate as a wild boar, to go down and pick up a ball earth and pick it up out of the water, cover it in half in water, 70%, and then spin it back through space again. I mean, these paintings were gifts given to the founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And there were artists among his devotees that painted these paintings and gave them to him as gifts. Now, it was too late to change them, and he knew. I heard this man, Prabhupada, speaking on a video where he was talking about the scientists. Before the scientists came along, all the old people and the old peoples of the earth knew the earth was flat. I heard him say that. He said that, why would he allow these paintings out? When they were painted and when they were given to him, I mean, the whole world and the artist who painted them himself was probably accepting the narrative that we lived on a spinning ball. You're talking about the 60s anyway. And he didn't want to upset the apple cart. But then I heard other stories that the same people who infiltrate all teachings and take them over had infiltrated his society from the very beginning. So, what do you make of that? So that's the story. The incarnation of the Supreme Creator, Lord Vishnu, comes down to the earth, pulls this ball earth up and sets it in motion. Let me bring it a little step further. Now, everybody, would you look what we have here? Australia. And look at the ocean all around it. Now, this looks to me like it has all been plowed up. This looks like it's been scraped up, scraped together off the ocean floor and piled up into a pile over here, right here, on this thing right here. Yeah? And this has been plowed up and plowed up and plowed up and plowed up and dug around, and just like a wild pig in a swamp, the mess that a wild pig in a swamp would leave behind him. If, of course, this is actual real depiction of things. If this is, the laser scanning of the Earth's surface underneath the ocean is correct, and this is what it looks like. I have another picture of it here, which gives a wider view of the area further around. It's not really good. I got a bad reflection of this. Just one moment. Now, if you can see that, there's a much greater area. Now, I've seen footage like this here from other parts of the Earth, other parts of the ocean, and it's similar. And it's similar in the style that it looks like the laser scan is the whole ocean and there's all this type of stuff in it. But this really looks like it's been plowed up into a lump. Something has made all of these holes in the earth. You see, these pictures and paintings, Vedic pictures and paintings, and there are many of them, they depict the pastimes of the Creator. It's a science more than a religion. Many other religions go to their religious books to look for their belief system. And the Indian people don't really live in such a belief system. Veda means knowledge, and Vedic science is practice of that knowledge. So in their Srimad Bhagavatam, you have all past and future appearances, expansions, incarnations of the Creator to this earth. And they are recorded in Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages, and have been translated into English. You can find them online, you can find them, lots of them on YouTube. So even if you want to go and look this stuff up yourself, go ahead. Now, here we are, people. Let's get back to Australia. I am looking at this big, huge continent, and what am I seeing? I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but let me show you what I'm seeing. I am seeing the huge body of a big red wild boar. Its head and its front legs and its back legs and its tail end and its back and the thing, that sticks up on the top of his head, and his head comes down like this, and it gets like this, and it goes down like this, and it comes down like this, and there it is again. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, people? Let me tell you what the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Mahabharata state about incarnations of the Creator to this earth. He always leaves a body behind him to fool the fools and the demons into believing that they've defeated him. This is according to Vedic science. Now, I just showed you that this whole earth, all around Australia, has all been plowed up. And I've shown you the stories from old and the two incarnations of the wild boar, and this one in particular, the brown one, who plows it all up and then lies down here and leaves body, leaves this temporary world back to spiritual abode. Okay? Now, the original people of this land claim that Uluru, Ayers Rock, is a heart, and that the land that they live on is Mother Earth, is their God. Okay? So, are they wrong? They just might turn out to be right. And know that the Mother Earth that they walk on is divine, and that the heart is divine. Any aspect of the Creator is divine in any expansion or incarnation. So There's a lot of things starting to add up here, okay? Now, what yuga, what kalpa, what timeline we're talking about that this might have happened in, I can't say. And I'm going to say as well that I'm not really buying into these timelines that were given. I've had doubts, and then along came Jason from our Cakes channel, and Jason talked about deliberate mistranslation in the Sanskrit Vedas from the word days into the word years. And we're supposed to be in this yuga, Kali Yuga, which is 432,000 years long. Now, Jason has mentioned some things that he has pulled out of the Sanskrit Vedas that talk about 432,000 days, not years. 432,000 days comes up around 11,000 years. I reckon the timelines have been manipulated. Ours have been in the West. And also, I reckon that the events of the Mahabharata may have taken place 1,000 years ago and not 5,000 years ago. We've been goofed. Now, look at this. Roger, you've got a huge dragon in North Africa and a fish underneath it. And we know that Google can muck you around and Google can manipulate images. That's a big image to manipulate. But we're taking your word for it for the time being. It definitely looks like it. Now, there's another story about a fish incarnation. I'm going to get to that very briefly now in a minute. Campbell, you live down here, okay? Take a peek. Take a peek. What am I talking? I don't think I'm talking through my hat. There's just too much here, okay? Now, Roger, with a lot of things about Roger we don't agree with, but if, this earth is littered in surface of it has to be made up with the dead bodies of everybody that walked across it. Now, this is a fish incarnation from the Srimad Bhagavatam called Lord Matsya. Now, I cannot relate this story from the Srimad Bhagavatam to Roger's 300-mile-long fish in the Sahara Desert. I've tried to. There is a man I want to consult on this, the chief of our tribe. And I will consult him on this because he is a knowledgeable man when it comes to Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's about as much as I think I can bring it here for today. Again, I can't relate the fish incarnation to Roger's dragon, but I'm going to try and find it. Now, that's a lot to swallow, people. And Jason, you might be right about the timelines. There is a lot of talk, a lot of discussion that's going to have to go down about this. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, people. Love you all. This is going to blow you away.